you know, this is one of those brands that I have seen since I was a young lad in knife collecting, right? Back when I used to subscribe to Knives Magazine, I would see ads for this company. They look kind of cool. They look kind of aggressive. They were way out of my price range. And at that time, you know, I had no idea how to ever get my hands on one, because this is back when like mail order, you know, young internet. I didn't have like a credit card to buy things. So I always saw them. I thought they were interesting and cool. Never got one until like 6 months ago. And this is the first time I've ever held a Busse in my life, let alone own one. And I got to say, it's really cool. I mean, I don't think I'm getting into them. I don't think I'm going to get any more, but this one's cool. And I want to share it with you guys, kind of talk about it. Disclaimer, I'm sure you've already figured it out. I'm not a fixed blade expert. I'm also not an expert on the steel they use. I did some research. It's very cloudy and confusing, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. So this is more of a check this thing out and look at it. What a beauty. First off, I've got a sheath here. This is from Rainwalker Studios. Rainwalker something, it says right there. Made in the USA. So, Busse knives. Please forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. Pretty sure most people say Busse. Usually don't come with a sheath. Sometimes you can get like a leather slip with them that they have made, but they don't come with a proper sheath. You have to get that done yourself. And that's what the previous owner did. So the previous owner that I bought this from commissioned this sheath here for this particular knife. It's got a, I think you call this a frog. I might be wrong on that. But it's nice. It's nice. It's thick. It fits in there really, really well. It uses a retention strap here to kind of keep it in place, because otherwise it's fairly loose, which is kind of cool because it means you could repurpose this sheath for something else that has a similar dimension, right? It's not like Kydex where it only fits this thing. It would have to be pretty close, but you could use this for something else if you wanted to. This is called the Hellraiser 2, and it's in their INFI steel, INFI. I don't know if it's pronounced INFI or if you just say INFI. The reason it's so confusing is that it is a proprietary steel that they have invented, and they keep its makeup very, very hush-hush. Now, some people say it's absolutely amazing. Other people say it's too soft. Some people say it's definitely a magic blend. Other people say it's very close to like D2 or something similar, and that they're just doing it for marketing hype. Who knows? Because they don't release the exact makeup of the steel, but it seems like the majority of people say it's good. The majority of people say it's really awesome steel. Now, some of this is coming from some old heads, right? This company has been around for a long time. Like I mentioned, I remember seeing this when I was way younger, and I'm a pretty old dude myself. So this is not a new knife company. So it could be one of those things where when they came out with this proprietary steel, it was amazing, top tier, but by today's standards, maybe it's not quite as amazing. I don't know. Just some conjecture there, just some thoughts as I try to fit this thing on camera. I bought it because it looks cool. I mean, you know that. If you watch my channel, looks are important to me. I like knives. I think they look cool, and this thing looks absolutely wicked. It's a monster too. Let's get some measurements going on this thing. The blade length is 8 inches. Overall length is 14 inches. So it is a big mamma jamma, and look how thick this stock is. I don't know. I can't get an accurate measure on there. Almost a 1/4 inch thick. I mean, it is a 1/4 inch thick. I guess I can move it over here, huh? Quit being a dummy. Under a 1/4 inch, but just barely. It's some pretty thick stock, and it's got some weight to it. You could do some pretty hardcore chopping with this thing if that's what you're into. 1 pound, 2.7 ounces. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a big boy. It is a big boy. It features, I forget what they call this finish. It's kind of like a working finish. It's got a cool like crosshatch design on it, similar to what Chavez does on some of his knives. This one's a little more industrial looking, but it looks really, really cool. It's just got that, I don't know, semi-polished, kind of shiny, worky type finish. I think it looks really, really cool. Whole ton of milling, right? So this was clearly done on a milling machine. This fuller right here to reduce the weight. and then these right here to actually shape this primary bevel. And then you can see smaller milling being done down here to further create this primary bevel. And then, of course, they put a standard edge on it. We've got a little swedge at the top here. It is symmetrical on both sides. Red micarta, kind of like Moab, Utah red micarta handles that look really, really cool. And they've got that kind of Busse texture on here. Sorry, I'm going to stop saying that. That they're kind of known for, along with these scallops. So this is a very visual trait of this company, doing these kind of scallops up there. It's still very striking. It looks cool, I think. I think it looks really cool, and it's kind of a signature look, how they do these scales on their knives. Nobody else really does anything quite like it. They also do this similar contouring right here. You'll find this very commonly on these knives. Now, they're not all like this, but this is a very common look, and it's very signature of the company. You've got a hole right here, hole right there. You could tie a lanyard to keep your grip in place, or just simply have a lanyard on there and just tie it every time to kind of give you that extra grip if you're doing like some hardcore heavy-duty chopping or anything like that. Full tang, obviously, going all the way down. It is just a monster chunk of steel right there. Scales being held on by these rivets right there that are concave in there. Very nice, very cool, super comfortable. You've got a choil that you can choke up on, although, man, you're still really far away from that tip. So I don't know how helpful choking up would be, but it is good for sharpening and things like that. But mainly, I mean, it just looks so cool. This finish is just outstanding. Really glad I picked this piece up. I'm not the biggest fixed blade guy, but I have started to kind of get into them a little bit, and it kind of brings me a different appreciation than folders. You know, folders, I'm really into the folding mechanism and the function of it and things like that. But this is a little bit more purpose-built in my eyes, or at least that's how I interpret it, right? This is more of a tool, and it kind of just reminds me of, I don't know, less modern, right? Kind of a time when knives and swords existed and things were used either utilitarian or as self-defense, and this kind of just reminds me of all of that stuff. All this cool milling going on here just really catches my eye and kind of drives you all the way around. And of course, the famous Busse handles here really just looks cool. In fact, this is like, I don't know, it might be my favorite model from them that I've personally seen, which is why I'm glad I picked one up, especially with this sheath here at the same time. So yeah, just wanted to show off this cool fixed blade knife. Let me know what you think of this thing. I don't know how useful it is as like a bushcraft knife. I mean, obviously you could make it work. I don't know if it's a top choice, but definitely cool to have in the collection and just admire at the very least. But it's also very, very capable. You can see lots of use videos and information on these. They've been around for a long time, especially the steel. And a lot of people into this brand, similar to Strider, are really into using their knives. So, you know, obviously in any of these groups, any brand, you're going to get people like me who are primarily collectors. I carry all my knives, but, you know, I don't live a lifestyle where I'm heavily using a knife. But this brand in particular has a lot of people that are really into using the knives, hunting, skinning, all kinds of things. So if you go into any of the Facebook groups, you're going to see a lot of knife usage from the group. All right, guys, comment down below. What do you think? Do you think it's cool? I think it's cool. Talk to you guys later.